Welcome back, everybody, to Little Squid League 30. My name's Chili Boy, and I'm joined by the wonderful Topic. We're going over to Group D for our round 2 match, which is Lethal Vengeance versus Euphoric Vibe. How are you feeling about this topic as we get into it?
I'm feeling good. Looking forward to some more Splatoon action, some very high-paced action. Let's just see what these two teams have to offer.
Yeah, I can't wait to see what the fresh blood on the scene is offering us. We're going to be starting off on Rainmaker Hagglefish, I believe. So do you have any particularly strong feelings either way about that map mode combination?
To me, this is a good map mode. I know people don't like it. It's a good map mode because of where the Rainmaker pedestals are. I feel like they are far enough so there's two distinct paths, but they're close enough so if you need to switch like really quick, you can, because there's a box you can jump to, get over underneath the tent, go up the rail, or go up the ramp, and you can like switch paths anytime. That's just my thoughts on it.
Yeah, no, I think I definitely agree with that observation. I think it's a good map in that regard for movement because it's very viable to switch routes halfway through, but you do need good movement to do that kind of promptly and for that to be a viable strategy. So we'll see what both these teams kind of bring to the competition. I always just love Rainmaker anyway because it's just so messy and normally very action-packed. You don't really stall in Rainmaker, and with that in mind, we're not going to be stalling and wasting any time either. We're going to be getting right into it. So let's see what these teams bring.
Whoa, the light tetras, the zipcaster ones, the fun ones, and a hydra. Okay, this is gonna be a very... Now, I predict this game's gonna be a battle between the hydra and the ballpoint. If the hydra can get set up in place, that's an easy win for Euphoric Vibe. If they can, Lethal Vengeance has an easy way to just abuse the hydra and just get as quick as possible, but the tetras do go down right away. That is a trade. That's 2 down. For Lethal Vengeance, the crab's coming out. Try to stall a little bit. And now as we see a very, very bloody or inky first 30 seconds, as that's a bunch of kills, but no one really has mid. But as I say that, Lethal Vengeance does find the way. The splash is pushing up. He does get one. That's 3 down. And now here's the chance for the first. Oh, the hammer barely missed, and the first checkpoint does get broken.
Lethal Vengeance living up to their names right now. This shooter has gone on an absolute tear. The splash Zach has been a menace so far, and they're actually going straight for the knockout. They're struggling to get it. Euphoric Vibe managing to shut things down somewhat, but it's to his side. They need to be careful because of where the Rainmaker's been left. This is messy right now, and Lethal Vengeance, very, very good group decision making there. They waited till the Hydra went down. Like you said, Topic, the Hydra's the kind of anchor for that team, the big threat that's going to deny pushes, and as soon as the Hydra went down, they were so aggressive on Lethal Vengeance, and that is an incredibly strong initial push.
Yeah, Euphoric Vibe on the back foot, not able to push, because with the ballpoint there, they have the feeder tetras with all the what's it called? All the quick respawn. They have the double inkjet, be able to put pressure. The crab able to put pressure. This is a very, very aggressive team, but the Hydra this day alive gets one. The Hydra's kind of in a bad spot, but oh, what is this? the back door by the T-Tech getting the first checkpoint, and now the Hydra's there trying to put on pressure, trying to come out. Oh, he does pick it up just to stall it out, and I don't know how that happened, but Euphoric Vibe is somehow still in this game. And now they put Lethal Vengeance on the back foot.
Yeah, that was very, very cheeky from the Tech, basically just taking advantage of the team being distracted. Looks like they were getting really, really fidgety about pushing further, and I think if they keep doing that, Lethal Vengeance are going to be able to just keep shooting at the Rainmaker podium and pick them off. I think they just need to try and be careful and regroup and take their time, but those jump-ins getting punished by the Tetras, so this is now looking like Lethal Vengeance will be able to kind of reset the game a little bit, get back into a kind of neutral position in mid. I will say that I'm quite impressed with how the Hydra moved up. I was been a bit worried about the Hydra as a pick for Rainmaker because it's not got the best mobility, but the Hydra is not scared to move forward to really support a push and aggress, and that is going to be crucial if they want to get lower than 15, because that's been a very strong statement from Lethal Vengeance that has determined the pace of this match.
Yeah, but unfortunately, that's going to be 3 down for Euphoric Vibe, and Lethal Vengeance has a chance to not win the game, but has a chance to put the Rainmaker in an awkward position for Euphoric Vibe to grab. The Tetris does get one. He does pop zip, trying to cause distraction. The zip is out. The ballpoint does go down to the Hydra. The Hydra staying alive here. Great job using the tense, kind of weird terrain to basically to stay alive.
Yeah, really solid play by the Hydra to make sure that Lethal Vengeance can't push along for free. I mean, I do like that Lethal Vengeance aren't just kind of sitting back and being too campy. Like, even though 15's a really good push, they know they want to keep the pressure on. There's still a lot of time in the match, and the game can change very quickly. But looking at the map control right now, really starting to go into Euphoric Vibe's favor. But with 2 players going down, looks like Lethal Vengeance have done quite a good job of holding, and they'll take trades right now because trades means just more time to kind of stall and hold their lead.
Yeah, ever since that first push that Lethal Vengeance got, it's been pretty back and forth. It's been pretty even. I feel like if Euphoric Vibe managed to come together quicker, they would have been able to keep it much closer and not to do such a huge push with what's in the middle left to go.
Yeah, I completely agree with that observation. It feels like the more the map has gone on, the stronger Euphoric Vibe has kind of got as a team. They've been doing a bit better in their engagements, though Lethal Vengeance will be stopping them here for now. But that is the problem with Lethal Vengeance having such a strong push so early, is they get to dictate the pace of this match. They can choose whether they want to push forward or not. Euphoric Vibe, with 30 seconds on the clock, have no choice. They have to be aggressive, even if it's not safe, and even if Lethal Vengeance kind of play around that. So even if they are going to lose game 1, I think there's some quite good showings here of how well Euphoric Vibe can play, and if they start the next game stronger, we could be looking at a very different dynamic.
Yeah, the Rainmaker is in an awkward position for Euphoric Vibe to push in. The Crab did get the Hydra. That is very big. But now that Hammer trying to backdoor, he doesn't get it. Just the Hydra remaining. They're all on it. Will the Hydra be able to do something? And it looks like he's not able to do anything. Great job by Lethal Vengeance just getting a very good first push. And then even though they did get surprised by the backdoor of the Tender Tech, they were able to calm down, able to regroup, and able to basically just win the game.
Yeah, and I think even though Lethal Vengeance got that push really early and really quickly, it wasn't cheesy by any stretch of the imagination. It was quite calculated. They took their time in that neutral state in the beginning, and it was when the Hydra went down and they had a numbers advantage, that's when they started to aggress, and they aggressed as a coordinated group. That Splash kind of leading the charge and going on an absolute tear, and it was just really good example of how scary it is when a team really does function as a collective rather than everyone just kind of playing as if they're in solo queue. So a very good showing from Lethal Vengeance in terms of how they can work together as a team. But we did see, as you said, Topic, Euphoric Vibe were getting kind of stronger and stronger as that game went on, and we're going over to Humpback Pump Track Clam Blitz, which on Splatoon 3 people won't have had as much practice on yet. So this might come down a bit more to fundamentals.
Yeah, because Humpback Pump Track is a very wavy map. That's the way I can describe it. It has a bunch of hills, has a bunch of curves. So I wouldn't be surprised if I saw like another, because the Tri-Slosher did do well. I wouldn't be surprised if I saw another Tri-Slosher, maybe the Tri-Slosher Nouveau for the Tacticooler and the Fizzies, be able to paint. But yeah, this map, Humpback in particular, is very favorable to short range weapons. So the Splash, T-Tech, 52, even stuff like you saw the Dapple Dualies. We haven't talked about the Dapple Dualies. That was a really interesting pick from Euphoric Vibe. Dapple Dualies could work here because of, you know, they're able to shark around, move around very quickly, and just come out of nowhere, get a quick kill, and dive right back into the ink.
Yeah, definitely. And when you were talking about Tri-Slosher, I was just getting flashbacks to early Splatoon 2, where it was like quad Tri-Slosher on Humpback, and it was absolute nightmare fuel. Anything with a disjointed hitbox here is terrifying.
You mean the best time of Splatoon 2? That was a Tri-Slosher main back in the day, so that was the best time, you know?
It made me very sad. We are going to see one on Seiko's part. I think that is a very good choice. Custom Jet coming out as a bit of an anchor for Euphoric Vibe. So interesting choice from Pole on there. A bit more mobility than they would have had with the Hydra and a Tri-Slosher on each side. So good comps here. Balanced in the sense that there's one rangey weapon and 3 weapons that have very good aggressive momentum. So yeah, really solid compositions on both sides, I would say.
Yeah, but as you see for Euphoric Vibe, they do have a zombie comp, which is a double tack comp, which is used to just go in again and again. But unfortunately, now to get a single tack puller off as a ballpoint, able to just control the hill. They do pop one. That's 2 down again. They're trying to do something here. They do get a ball really quickly here. But will they able to follow up on it? They might be able to. Because right now, it looks like Lethal Vengeance is able to just keep mid control. The ballpoint Jet trying to do something here, try to keep this team alive. Unfortunately, he does go down. That's 2 down for Euphoric Vibe. Looks like Lethal Vengeance will be able to take control of the opponent's plat.
Yeah, and Euphoric Vibe losing players on the defensive push, just teammates seeing an opportunity to take advantage of that. One player managed to get rid of all the beacons on Euphoric Vibe's part, so that's a very strong initial showing for Lethal Vengeance. Nice coordinated specials that were there as well between the triple ink strike and the inkjet. I lost my words then, but we saw the ink storm come out for Euphoric Vibe. They're trying to regain a bit of control from mid. They're going to have to get much more ground than that if they want to start doing a counter push, but they've got 3 minutes 40 seconds on the clock. They can take their time here and see how things go, and then use that double tactical comp to really aggress.
Yeah, but as you saw, they tried to get a push and it didn't quite work out for them. As Euphoric Vibe again, they are going to go 3 down here. That's basically a delayed wipe, and now Lethal Vengeance able to just do what they've been doing, being the aggressor, just being able to push up. Because as you see, Euphoric Vibe, they aren't playing very connected. They're playing very scatterbrained, as you call it. They're playing like solo queue, just going in again and again and again, trying to just brute force it. But brute force is not quite going to work here.
Yeah, they did manage, after losing a couple of players, to have some good momentum and get a triple, so they do now have a chance to move up. And you know, aggressive play when kind of planned around and when the environment's in your favor can really work, but in this instance some of it just a little bit of anxious energy maybe. But now using the tacticalers, they're trying to push in, they're trying to put pressure on that ballpoint, who has been the anchor for Lethal Vengeance, but unfortunately getting punished by Zach, doing a really good job there backing up the ballpoint now bringing out the inkjet. But 2 players going down, so Euphoric Vibe managing to win engagements a little bit more. Seeing what happened last time, the longer the match goes on, they seem to start just kind of waking up and adapting. So if Euphoric Vibe can hold this map control and then start to push in a coordinated way, they could get a really strong push going here.
Yeah, luckily for Vibe, they are getting picks, but it's a little bit too late here, because Lethal Vengeance can try to just hold here and see what they do in response to it. But Euphoric Vibe does get the first power, but will they be able to follow up on it? They might not be able to, as the ballpoint does get 1. He's just protecting the basket. That's 2 down, 3 down for Euphoric Vibe, so they do manage to get a couple points off, but it just gave Lethal Vengeance a free power clam.
Yeah, Wings being an absolute menace there on the ballpoint. Euphoric Vibe can't allow Wings to stay up really, because they're just taking a safe position and just completely outranging their composition. That is 3 that have gone down for Euphoric Vibe, so this will be Lethal Vengeance's chance to counter push and start to work through that penalty. We see a super jump coming in as well. Power come to break the barrier, and if they got any more clums on them to extend their lead, they have whittled the penalty down. We can see what they can do here to make this happen, but Lethal Vengeance not phased that the barrier got broken, and instead doing everything they can to chip away at their score.
Yeah, but the Tetra is staying alive somehow. That's just the mobility of the Tetris for you. Managed to stay alive, not any longer, but they do manage to jump in the pity clam. Great job by Lethal Vengeance, just staying alive, being able to get in the pity. And now Euphoric Vibe has to do something here. They are down by 50 points plus the penalty out. Will they be able to make a comeback here?
And unfortunately, we see a very similar position that they were in last game, which is that the map control is relatively balanced. Lethal Vengeance lead is quite strong, and they can afford to dictate the pace of the game now. So Euphoric Vibe will have to find a way to aggress in a synergized way, but with 40 seconds on the clock, and based on how well Lethal Vengeance have been defending, that is an uphill battle. That is going to be a real mountain to climb. They do manage to get a pick here, but then unfortunately punished, and the Jet is coming out to harass the tri-slosher. So just a good positioning we can see from Lethal Vengeance here, creating an absolute wall in mid that Euphoric Vibe are struggling to overcome right now despite their best efforts.
Yeah, as you see here, it looks like Euphoric Vibe just going in one at a time, sort of creating a chain of just kill after kill after kill instead of trying to come together as a team. They are playing very scatterbrained. That's another 3 down for Euphoric Vibe, and Lethal Vengeance going to take the game in a very dominating fashion. Even though the score does say it was a kind of a blowout by Lethal Vengeance, it was kind of a dominating performance just by how many kills, how often Euphoric Vibe was just 2 down, 3 down. They were wiped. Nice little fist bump there. They weren't able to come together as a 4-man team and able to kind of break through the wall that was Lethal Vengeance.
I think Psycho, the Tri-Slosh, are doing a cheeky little fizzy bomb taunt there at the end to signify that they were kind of feeling themselves there. But yeah, that was quite a challenging game for Euphoric Vibe. A bit of a similar position to game one in that offensively, Euphoric Vibe, can be really good, like the decent players mechanically. But the problem is when on the defending end of a push that it feels like a bit of anxious energy comes into the room, and they were kind of panicking and they were a bit too separated, and Lethal Vengeance were functioning a bit more as a collective and coordinating those specials a bit more, which we saw in the last set as well was crucial to making that difference. So that is going to be a win for Lethal Vengeance in terms of this engagement, but Euphoric Vibe still have a chance to get on the board. And we're going over to Splat Zones on Inkblot Art Academy, which is a very different environment to be playing in. It's a static objective to work with, and that could be something that works more in Euphoric Vibe's favor, but we'll have to see.
Yeah, but whatever Euphoric Vibe decides to go, they're gonna have to start the game off strong. They can't afford to just basically let Lethal Vengeance just kind of get as far ahead as they did the last couple games, and then have to work their way back from their own grave that they dug. So if they start off strong, whatever comp they use, they start off strong, they're able to have a fighting chance in this last game.
Yeah, I think that is it, isn't it? It's like dictating the pace in a game like this is just so powerful, and so far it feels like all the momentum has been on Lethal Vengeance's terms, whether it's going to be a very aggressive and heavy clashing game or whether it's going to be a game that slows down a little bit. If Euphoric Vibe can kind of dictate the pace a bit more, have quite a strong opening here, focus on getting map control and some coordinated specials for that first engagement, we could see a very different situation that forces Lethal Vengeance to panic, and then if they're under pressure, that coordination that we've seen in the last two games might fall apart. But so far, Lethal Vengeance have had quite a strong showing defensively, and that's also because they've always had quite a strong lead that Euphoric Vibe are trying to overcome, and that's given them time to kind of slow things down. They can afford Euphoric Vibe to push a little bit because it's not going to be as far as their initial push was. So it'll be interesting if we see any adaptations here. Composition-wise, I don't think the composition was the issue for Euphoric Vibe because it was very similar. I think the issue was more just getting that momentum and trying to take a bit more of a coordinated approach to defending.
Yeah, because I feel like their comp could work very well. It's just most of the game they were playing very like solo queue, like trying to each of them trying to be the hero of the story. But unfortunately, Lethal Vengeance just said, "We're gonna be the villains. We're gonna win." That's how it's gonna go.
And I know that feeling of wanting to be the hero in the story. There's a reason I completely abused run speed on Tech in Splatoon 1 because I loved just running around and getting picks over and over. But I got punished so much against higher tier teams because they were just so ready for that, and it became too predictable. So we'll see how they adapt here. We've got a Dynamo coming out for Euphoric Vibe and a Paintbrush, so much more ink on Euphoric Vibe side this time, and it'll be interesting how that works. They get 2 picks as well, so everything suggests that the zone should go to Euphoric Vibe first here, but they are struggling again. That ball point is doing such a good job of anchoring and keeping people at bay, but they will get first zone, and first zone with missiles at the ready as well, so let's see what they can do. Nice pick from Tamaniko there as well.
Yeah, the Paintbrush, very interesting because it has more range than the Octo and Inkbrush, so it's supposed to play more of a supportive role, not very aggressive as another brush would play. But that Dynamo able to cover for him, but that's 2 down for Lethal Vengeance. But in zone does flip for Lethal Vengeance. The Zipcaster here just trying to be a distraction. He does manage to do something here, and now Lethal Vengeance here trying to put the foot on their throat as they do have the missiles ready. Missiles are at the ready. They do try to pop them, but the ballpoint is keep them in their sights. They do take the lead, and Euphoric Vibe has a chance to flip the zone.
They do, and this is the panic we sometimes see from Euphoric Vibe, but they're trying to regroup, and they're regrouping much better this time, managing to get the zone back again, getting the pick on the ball point, which has been causing them a lot of problems. 2 down on either side. They'll take that at the moment when they've got more of the Zap control positioning, but that was a beautiful drop down there by the Tri-Slosher, not only silencing the crab, but allowing their teammate to safely jump in, so momentum is going to switch into Lethal Vengeance's favor, and this is what is going to be quite scary for Euphoric Vibe now, because the Tri-Slosher and the Tetris with that Zipcaster is going to really pressure those long-range weapons that do not want to get rushed.
Yeah, you can see that. You can say that again as the Tri-Slauncher does rush one. He does get the paintbrush. He's now on the plat. And now here we go. Euphoric Vibe. They need to back up. They can't die. If they manage to die, they do lose their plat. Just like that. That kind of rhymed. The Whitebird does go down. That's the dualies do go down. That's 2 down for Euphoric Vibe. Lethal Vengeance just taking complete map control, but the paintbrush does get 1. Trying to stay alive. He does go down. Now with only 15 left to go on the zone, they're trying to rush in. It doesn't work. The ballpoint staying in the middle of the zone. The Dino trying to get a lot, stay alive. He does get killed again. Great job by Lethal Vengeance. Just it took him a little longer than it usually did. It took him about a minute and a half, but they did manage to get into their positions, able to get a couple picks, and able to win the set in a 3-0 fashion.
I would really encourage Euphoric Vibe to watch their set back here, because they had moments that were really quite impressive, and in that game in particular they had some really good takes early on and won some good engagements. But I think the problem there was, again, once Lethal Vengeance got that control, Euphoric Vibe, that they split up, but they didn't split up in a kind of grouped 2-2 way. It felt like they all just went their own way and went into their own more instinctual way of playing. And as we could see from the kind of camera view, when that map was so green in Lethal Vengeance's favor, Euphoric Vibe had nowhere to move. They have no way to counterplay against a team that's already set up with that kind of level of control, and they were just so easy to pick off after that. And it's a real shame, because you can see from the way Euphoric Vibe started that game how good they can kind of be as a collective as well. But that panic defensively kind of just getting in the way, and Lethal Vengeance just having more consistency there to take that game. So very, very well done to them. GG's to both players, and yeah, well, we'll have to see what comes out of the next set of group stages, but it's been pretty action-packed so far, which is always nice.
Yeah, great job by Lethal Vengeance taking a 2-0, going 2-0 in their group. Euphoric Vibe is at 1-1, so they do have a chance of making a bracket if they just manage to figure out what went wrong, how can we change, what can we do better next set to maybe, if we have a chance, meet Lethal Vengeance again in the gold bracket and, maybe reverse the outcome.
Yeah, and that's exactly, the nice thing about kind of tournament structures like this is you do have time to adapt and kind of think things through. You're getting quite rich experience either way. Even if Euphoric Vibe struggle in the future games and don't get through on this occasion, they've got wins they've taken, and they've had games they've lost, and they can think about what the difference has been in those kind of instances, and that will, go to massive lengths to improve their play. And I think for Euphoric Vibe, something as simple as working on retake strategies specifically and working on coordinated special approaches to retaking the zone, or to doing defensive pushes, will massively level up their play as a team, because fundamentally, in terms of like actual just mechanical playing engagements, the skills are there. It's just how they work as a collective that needs a bit of work. But yeah, that was a fun showing. And are we going to be taking a break, or are we going to be able to go straight into more action?
Yeah, looks like we will be taking another little break. So don't you go anywhere, or go grab some popcorn, chips, snacks, whatever. Come back, because we'll be back in the next few minutes for more Splatoon 3 action.
See you soon.